Welcome back. President-elect Donald Trump set to meet with Senate Republicans tomorrow in Washington to discuss the strategy to execute his agenda. House Speaker Mike Johnson told me he wants to have one big reconciliation package complete by April. As Trump then told Hugh Hewitt, he understands the pushback in the Senate, so he's keeping his options open.
Well, I favor one bill. I also want to get everything passed. And, you know, there are some people that don't necessarily agree with it, so I'm open to that also. My preference is one big, as I say, one big, beautiful bill. Now, to do that takes longer. Now, with that being said, we'd get some border work done a little bit earlier, et cetera, et cetera. But the border work, you know, we have a lot of money that we're going to be clawing back from the Green New scam. I would prefer one, but I will do whatever needs to be done to get it passed. And, you know, we have a lot of respect for Senator Thune, as you know. He may have a little bit of a different view of it. I heard other senators yesterday, including Lindsey, talking about it. They prefer it the other way. So I'm open to either way as long as we get something passed as quickly as possible.
Yes, because Lindsey Graham, the senator from South Carolina, told me he's worried about one package. Joining me now with his views is Kansas Senator Roger Marshall, a member of the Senate Budget, Finance, Agriculture, and Health Committees. He's also the Senate Doge Caucus co-founding member. Senator, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Maria, Happy New Year. You know, what a great topic here. Listen, eventually this, regarding the reconciliation, this is going to be President Trump's call. But listen, there's two paths often that you can take, two different routes to get to the same goal. I think what the senators need to be careful, though, is having empathy and looking this through the House eyes. I served 4 years in the House, and if Speaker Johnson says this is the only way he can get the bill through is one big, beautiful bill, then we need to listen to him. I think that he's in a little bit different situation there with Congress members, say, from New York that care about that salt tax deduction. So I think that if there's the border is part of this reconciliation bill, we need to take care of the debt limit. No one's talking about that as well in this reconciliation bill. Then going back to the border is the sweetener. I would fear for any Republican that's willing to not vote for a bill that includes border security.
Well, I think these are all really great points, and you just hit on the two real hot spots, and that is salt and the debt ceiling. You're going to be in that meeting tomorrow with President Trump. So, I mean, are you going to say to him, Mr. President, maybe there's a little too much in this bill? I mean, I've already spoken with senators who say there's no way I'm voting for raising the debt ceiling. Ron Johnson told me, no, I'm not voting yes on that. And I've also spoken with others like Senator Lindsey Graham, who said you're going to have a hard time getting me to vote to lift the salt deduction cap. So these two things are going to be right there, and isn't that too much for one bill?
Well, we'll see. Again, I'm going to go back to Speaker Johnson, a good friend who's doing a great job, that he says they've already got a bill almost done as far as the tax package, making those Trump tax cuts permanent. So let's take a look at that. He says he can get it done by April. We thought it would probably be June or July. Look, if I was in charge, if it was just the Senate, I totally understand. We had this package ready to go on funding border security and doing some energy improvements, some money for the military. So maybe we focus on that. Maybe the House focus on the tax cuts. We can go down two roads at the same time. We can write a budget reconciliation bill to allow both roads to go down at the same time. President Trump will make his play call, and away we go. Let's make America great again.
I want to get to health in a second. You're a doctor, and I'm gonna get your take on Make America Healthy Again. But let me just end on this subject with this, because there's a real worry that if you don't do tax cuts early on, you're not going to do tax cuts, right? And the worry there is that this uncertainty of taxes for the markets, for business, is going to mean that the GOP loses the majority. And in the second 2 years with the Democrats in control, the second 2 years of Trump's term, he's just going to have attacks nonstop from Democrats, including getting impeached every day. Do you feel that is realistic?
I do think it's realistic, and I think this is why you hear Ways and Means Chairman Jason Smith say, look, House of Representatives, they get elections every 2 years, Senator are 6 years. Look, if I had my way, if it was just the Senate, I would bite this off in two big bites where we could maybe do some extra efforts on that Trump tax cuts reconciliation part of the bill. But I hear Speaker Johnson, I hear Chairman Smith loud and clear that they think that we have to have the border bill on there to get everyone's buy-in on the taxes. We see what a tight majority they've got over there. We need to support them. But what I appreciate about President Trump is he's inviting both arguments. He's inviting the debate. I was with him a week ago, and he's inviting the debate, and eventually he'll make the play call, and then we need to execute it.
All right, let me move on to what Trump is saying. The president-elect is accusing the current president, Biden, of sabotaging the White House transition. I mean, Joe Biden's making all these changes on the way out the door, Senator. President Trump posted this on Truth Social. Biden is doing everything possible to make the transition as difficult as possible, from lawfare to costly and ridiculous executive orders on the Green New scam and other money-wasting hoaxes. President Biden announcing a last-minute ban on new offshore oil and gas drilling yesterday, 2 weeks before Inauguration Day. That's across more than 600 million acres. The administration also resettling 11 Guantanamo detainees in Oman. Just this morning, the Wall Street Journal reporting that it is negotiating with the Taliban to receive 3 American prisoners in exchange for a high-level al-Qaeda official. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So, Maria, this is a slap in the face of the 77 million Americans who voted for President Trump. And Americans are going to remember this. They'll remember it in 2 years. They're going to remember it in 4 years, that Joe Biden has been a petty loser. Whoever's running and making the play calls there in the White House, that they're petty losers, that this flies in the face of Americans. And I can't remember if you mentioned this, but what really irks, I think, the folks back in Kansas is President Biden pardoning people for crimes they're not even charged with. I think that at our hearts, Americans know that that's wrong. And then you mentioned the other issues, banning offshore drilling. He's shoveling billions of dollars out the door before President Trump gets in there, giving us an even larger debt, really impacting our treasuries and the bond market. You're right. He's making it darn hard for President Trump. But I just can't wait till we get him inaugurated, and we'll try to reconcile all these issues.
And one thing that you've been working on is making America healthy. You are launching the Make America Healthy Again caucus. Tell us what you're hoping to accomplish. You are a doctor yourself. What changes do you want to see for America's health care?
Yeah, Marie, I'm just so excited about this. I've been working it on 40 years, and I've found my people. Bobby Kennedy Jr., Dr. Oz, we've been meeting, having discussions with their leaders. What exactly does Make America Healthy look like? And remember, 60% of Americans have a chronic disease. It's went from 6 to 60% in my lifetime. 20% of our kids are on a prescription drugs. A third of our adolescents are pre-diabetic. So I think making America healthy again starts with nutrition, with the healthy, quality nutrition that we're eating about 500 calories too many every day as Americans. We need to emphasize the quality of those calories. And on the back end, Americans will save money. Look, if you want your health insurance premiums to come down, if you want me to save Medicare, then we need to make America healthy again. So it starts with healthy nutrition. Dr. Oz and I and Bobby Jr. are working on what that policy looks like. I think it starts with redoing the dietary guidelines. And then what policy can we do to help bring more affordable fresh fruits and vegetables right from the farm to the folks as well. So I'm excited.
Well, I mean, it is like, head scratching to see some of the elements that are banned in Europe that are perfectly fine here in America for our children to eat.
So absolutely, you think about this, is that 70% of your health determinants are determined by what you eat and by your environment as well.
Yeah.
Right now, some of these dyes were approved 40, 50 years ago. We need to go revisit those, and I think that we've got the people in line to do that, so I'm excited to get to work.
Senator, before you go, real quick, do you believe Bobby Kennedy Jr. will get confirmed by the Senate, and do you believe all of Trump's nominees get through?
You know, I do at this point in time. I think we saw the tide shift when Pete Hegseth stood up to the legacy media. Bobby and I don't agree on everything, and that's okay. President Trump invites those conversations, but I think he will get confirmed. He's a powerful personality and ready to make some big changes for America. He's ready to make America healthy again, and Americans are ready for that as well.
Senator, we'll be watching your work. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, sir.